Welcome to In the Pocket with Rich Gannon. Rich, thank you so much for joining us today.
Erin, it's always great to be with you, but especially on a Victory Monday after a huge divisional win over the Chiefs.
And we are so excited to get your perspective after this huge win, of course, for the Raiders. Derek Carr, no longer winless at Arrowhead, putting the entire league on notice after being 0-6 there. For you, what did you see out of his performance against the Chiefs on Sunday?
I see a lot of toughness and resiliency out of Derek. It hasn't been easy. We talk about the injuries that they've had to deal with, especially at wide receiver. It was great to get Henry Ruggs back. But I look at his body of work, and Erin, I've got to say this. So there's been a lot of talk. We get through the first month of the season, we start talking about the MVP talk. And you look at Derek's numbers, he is having an MVP type season. And I can speak on that because I've won one. And you look at his numbers, he's completing 3% of his passes. He's thrown 11 touchdowns on the season, and he's thrown just one interception, obviously coming yesterday, but he has really played well. He's managed situational football well. He's managed the young receivers. He's managed the run game, changing protections. He is a master of his domain. I've been really impressed with his performance. You look at what Russell Wilson's doing in Seattle. You look at Josh Allen's doing in Buffalo, but Derek certainly deserves to be in that conversation after 5 weeks.
347-yard performance yesterday. The last time a Raider QB had over 300 passing yards at Arrowhead was in 2002. And the last quarterback to do it was you, Mr. Gannon. So I love that you bring up your name as well as Derek Carr, because he is a guy showing composure when the Raiders need to rely on him. And speaking of Carr, he was taking deep shots against the Chiefs defense. No coincidence, probably had a little something to do with getting Henry Ruggs back in the mix. How does having him back change the dynamic of this offense?
It helps everybody. Their ability to stretch the field. There's a reason why the Raiders selected the fastest player in last year's draft at 4.27 seconds. This guy can flat out fly. He's got unusual straight line speed. And you could just see him, yesterday, his separation ability. And I think that's significant. A 72-yard, the explosive plays, which have been missing from the Raiders offense the last couple of years, getting him back helped. And I tell you what, Nelson Aguilar has really been a nice addition this year. For the Raiders, a big catch yesterday, the 59-yard touchdown. So I think when you're able to stretch the field like that, that opens up everything for players like Josh Jacobs. It opens up the middle of the field for Darren Waller. So I just think getting a healthy Henry Ruggs back is significant for the Raiders moving forward.
Having Henry Ruggs back, of course, getting Trent Brown back on the offensive line, all of that, of course, making a huge difference yesterday against the Chiefs. The Raiders offense totaling 490 yards. And how about the defense allowing just 8 second-half points against the Chiefs? A defense I think a lot of people thought had no shot of containing Patrick Mahomes. What did you see from that unit in the second half?
I just think, some toughness. I think the run defense has continued to improve. Yesterday, it was really good against a team that has the ability to really spread you out. I thought the third down, their ability to get off the field, the Chiefs were one of the best third down offenses in football yesterday. And of course, just 6 of 14. So that to me is big. I just think the young players, Jonathan Abram continues to show up when you put the film on and you watch this guy make splat plays. He's always seems to be around the football, and he's a violent, physical downhill player that can play at all 3 levels. I thought Nevin Lawson had a big day yesterday. I think, when you look at a lot of the second-year players and the impact they're making, and not only that, but the improvement that they're making in the system. I think the understanding of what Coach Gunther's talking about from the scheme. I think situational football where they've been better. And I think, finally, the discipline. Yesterday the Chiefs had more penalties than the Raiders. When's the last time that happened? So I thought that was a significant, I don't want to go so far as to say a transformational win for the Raiders, but that is a significant win to take down the defending world champions in Kansas City, and to do it in convincing fashion. They got behind in that game. The thing that's been impressive, I go back to week 2 against the Saints. They've fallen behind in games against good teams and good quarterbacks and haven't panicked. I think that shows great growth and maturity from a year ago.
When you talk about maturity, you hit the nail on the head, because being down by 11 points at one point in the first half and then to come all the way back and tie the game up 24-24 heading into the second half is absolutely what you're talking about, a transformational win for this Raiders organization. And Rich, let's talk about year 3 for John Gruden, something you know pretty well, because we all remember what happened in year 3 in his first tenure with the Silver and Black. A team that went from back-to-back 8-8 seasons to winning a division title and going all the way to the AFC Championship game. You were on that team. Not getting ahead of ourselves, but John has this team playing at a high level right now.
He does. And, you know, Erin, there's a process to when you come back or when you join an organization. It takes time to change the culture and the environment. It takes time to go out and get the type of players that you want and need that fit your scheme. I think when you go back and look at year 1, this was a team that was making a significant change, even on defense. You know, when you look at the body types that they were trying to get, the pass rushers, the cover corners that they didn't have, it doesn't happen overnight. In the beginning, they were trying to do it with veterans. And then in year 2, they began the draft was a focus, and Mike Mayock comes in. And I think even this year, when you look at adding a guy like Henry Ruggs and Edwards, I think there's a method to the madness. It takes a while, but now you're starting to see the fruits of their labor in terms of free agency, in terms of the draft, in terms of the scheme, in terms of building an offense around Derek, with the offensive line. And you go out and get Josh Jacobs last year. You get 2 young receivers. You got a tight end that you feel really good about, and you had a veteran. I mean, you start putting all the pieces together, and it looks significantly different, and it feels different, and it should from 2 years ago.
It does. It feels different. Absolutely. Rich, we love getting your perspective after game day. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Erin, you're the best.
Thank you.